All right, let's talk about something truly bizarre. We're going to the small coastal village of Ulthar, where a very old, very strange superstition became terrifyingly real. This is a wild story about a gruesome crime, a town's missing pets, and a reckoning that nobody saw coming. So let's just get right to the heart of it. The one question that just stumped everyone in Essex County. How does something like this even happen? It's a classic locked room mystery, but with a twist that defies any logical explanation. And here's why it's so baffling. That number, that represents the catastrophic blood loss of the victim, an 82-year-old man named Minas Atal. We're not talking about a small wound here. We're talking about almost total exsanguination, a detail that immediately turned this case into a complete enigma. You know things are weird when the seasoned county coroner, Elias Crow, comes out with a quote like this: "A vampire's kiss, but with pause." It perfectly captures just how strange this all was, and it really sets the stage for the supernatural feeling events that were about to unfold. Okay, so the puzzle is set, right? We've got a body, a locked room, and absolutely zero logical answers. Let's really dig into the official preliminary report from that morning, November 6th. Okay, check this out, because every single fact here just makes the whole thing weirder. The victim, Minas Atal, 82 years old, found dead around 3:17 in the morning. The cause? Literally being drained of his blood. But his cell was locked from the outside, no signs of a break-in, the talk screen totally clean. The only marks on him were hundreds of these teeny, tiny little lacerations, almost like pinpricks. And maybe the most baffling part of all, the air vents were way too small for any known animal to squeeze through. It's a perfect, impossible crime. And then there's what they found on his cell wall. His last words scrawled right there: "The elders, they feast." Now, this was the first real clue that his death wasn't just some random freak event. It was connected to something or someone that he was clearly terrified of. So, to really get what's going on, how we end up with a bloodless body in a locked cell, we have to rewind. We're going back 1 week to this strange event that had the whole fog-shrouded village of Ulthar on edge, the night all its cats disappeared. Because here's the thing. You have to understand about Ulthar. It's not your average town. Cats? Well, they're a big deal there. Like a sacred deal. And this isn't some new age animal rights thing. We're talking about a law from way back in 1793, rooted in old folklore, that basically says you do not mess with the cats in Ulthar, period. And this old line from a 19th century broadsheet says it all, doesn't it? It isn't just some cute, quaint saying. It is a straight up warning. And notice that word again, elders, the same word Atal wrote on his cell wall. This belief in a protective curse runs deep. Then, on October 28th, the thing they all feared, it happened. Over 50 cats, pets, strays, barn cats, you name it, they just vanished into the fog. An eerie silence fell over the village, and suspicion almost immediately turned toward one man, the town recluse, Minas Atal, who famously hated cats. So you can imagine the tension in town, right? Whispers are flying everywhere, and pretty soon the investigation leads the authorities right to Atal's isolated farmhouse. And what they were about to find inside, well, it was something truly grotesque. The break in the case came from a really strange place. A young orphan named Niar, who told the sheriff about visions he was having. It was enough to get a warrant. So deputies go out to the farmhouse, they're searching the place, and up in the attic, they find it, a false panel. And behind it, the horrifying answer to where all the cats had gone. Listen to what one of the deputies, Clara Voss, said about the scene. They weren't roadkill, they were trophies, mouths frozen in silent screams. I mean, can you imagine? They found over 50 mummified cat corpses. This wasn't some random act of cruelty. It was ritualistic, a collection. So when they finally arrest Atal, you'd expect him to fight it, right? Deny everything? Nope. He was just resigned. The only thing he kept muttering was, "They'll come for me now." It's like he knew. He had broken the ancient taboo, and he seemed to believe that a reckoning was absolutely coming for him. And that brings us right back to where we started, the night of Atal's death. This is the moment where it all collides, the horrific crime against the cats and the ancient curse of the village.
This is where the folklore came roaring to life.
Just look at this timeline. It is absolutely chilling. October 28th, the cats vanish. November 4th, a Tal is arrested and they find the bodies. Then, November 6th at 3:17 a.m., a Tal dies. And at that exact moment, witnesses report hearing this unearthly yowling all around the jail. And then, as the sun comes up, the cats return. All of them. And then some. And the way they came back, it was just unnatural. People described it as a living carpet of felines pouring back into Ulthar. There's even drone footage of this horde moving with this organized, deliberate precision. They showed zero aggression toward the villagers, and every single humane trap that had been set out for them was found sprung, but empty. This was not a natural event.
So, what happens after all this chaos? With many Zatal dead and all the cats mysteriously back, the relationship between the people of Ulthar and their feline neighbors was completely rewritten, forever. This really shows you the shift, right? Before this, that old law was just a quirky piece of history, something people probably forgot about. But after, it became a sacred covenant. The town became a literal feline sanctuary. What was once just an old promise became a pact.
But wait, there's one last piece to this puzzle, and it is a stunner. While going through Otto's belongings, investigators found his journal, and it revealed that his family line had a dark history as cat slayers for ship's luck. So it's possible the curse that finally caught up to Menes Otto wasn't just for him, maybe it was generational. And that brings us to this final haunting line from the official reports on the case. For in Ulthar, the cats remember. It really makes you think, doesn't it, about how a shared belief, a collective memory, can take on a life of its own, blurring that line between myth and a terrifying real-world justice. In the quiet, foggy village of Ulthar, one thing is now certain. The people will never again forget. Because, well, the cats always remember.